A 2-1 lead sees Australia on top in this Ashes series, only needing a draw to retain, while England will need to win the remaining 2 test matches in order to claim victory. Hello everyone and welcome to our coverage of the 4th Specsavers Ashes test match live from Old Trafford. We head down to the middle for the pre-game presentations. A couple of changes for the Australian side this week. Mitchell Starc will be playing this test match. Steve Smith also another inclusion to the side, and Mitchell Marsh for the first time we'll be seeing him in this series. England, they go in unchanged, and we prepare for what is going to be a very important test match. The series could be decided on this test match here. We had a thrilling victory in the second test match at Lords for England. Australia dominant at Headingley, and this match going to be key for both these teams heading in. And it's very different conditions to what we've been seeing in the last couple of test matches. It looks like it's going to be very dry, fairly hot weather. We aren't seeing too much overcast conditions that are going to come into this. So you'd think that whoever wins this toss, they're going to get out there and bat. And you think that they're going to want to bat long periods of time, because this could be a high-scoring match, depending on how this goes. So Australia call heads. They've won the toss, and Tim Paine is going to have a bat. So Australia win the toss. They will be batting first. England need to start well with this new ball. Otherwise, it could be a long day for them in the field. As we see the players to head out to the middle of the ground now. Going to be a very, very big contest early. Australia with some changes at the top of the order. Usman Khawaja promoted to the opening position. Marcus Harris out of the side. Marnus Labuschagne coming in to bat at number 3 with Steve Smith returning. He'll be taking his customary spot of 4. Stuart Broad to take the new ball for England. And he's got 2 left-handers to come up against. David Warner, who's been in pretty good form this series, and Usman Khawaja, who's been a little bit up and down, but mostly failed to really hit his top form throughout this series. So the new ball, obviously the key. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a long day in the field, and it's good conditions for batting. Everything Australia would be after here on day 1. They'd want to see out this opening session, find out how they go throughout the day, and just spend a lot of time at the crease. Oof, that is just a bit of a lackluster start there from David Warner as he tried to work it to the onside. This time he gets it away, and the first runs for Australia on the board. Khawaja also off the mark by tucking that down to the leg side. As we said, he has had a bit of an up and down series. Usman Khawaja has hit the 100 throughout the series, but has only made 192 runs for the series as a whole. So apart from that one big score, he really hasn't had too much of an impact for Australia in this side. Have a look at the other side of things, and for England, they'll be relying on Stuart Broad to take the wickets for them. He's the leading wicket taker for them so far, taken 13 wickets across the opening 3 test matches, and an average of 15, a strike rate of 29.85. So he's been quite effective. Jofra Archer now into the attack. And he's got the wicket. Usman Khawaja chops it on. Just managing 7 runs so far. We're talking about how big Stuart Broad has been so far this series. Jofra Archer, he's come in. He's played the 2 test matches. Taken 5 wickets. That's 6 now so far. And he's looking the goods early on. Khawaja chopped that one onto the stumps. Marnus Labuschagne to the crease. Just a thick inside edge onto leg stump. A little bit unlucky, really. But it sees him go. Ben Stokes into the attack now as well. And he's got an outside edge as well. So the 2 bowling changes have created 2 wickets here for England. Stokes important for the bowling of England. It's his 9th wicket so far this series, grabbing the outside edge of David Warner. And he's been quite effective. We thought in the last test match he was probably one of the guys, both he and Archer were the 2 that turned it around and were able to get England in I guess, in a better position, but they still didn't end up winning that test match. But good start from Stokes. What can he do to Steve Smith? No run. So these two are going to be an interesting pairing to look at today. We've seen Steve Smith has performed quite well through this series. He only has batted in 3 innings, so he's only made 171 runs, but he's the second highest average for the series, averaging 57 across the innings so far. The only player to average more than him is Jos Buttler, and he made about 250 runs in the first test match and has only been averaging 28 runs since. So big afternoon for Steve Smith. See if he can keep himself in form after missing the last test match and keep himself among some of the leading run scorers here today. That's a quality shot. It's through mid-wicket and it should be a boundary. So these two taking their time as we sort of approach the latter part of this opening session. They're holding off Jack Leach so far. Marnus Labuschagne only played the one test so far, and he's made just the 10 runs throughout the 2 innings there. I think he only bat once. I don't think he scored in the second innings when Australia were just chasing down 18. So only the 10 in that first innings. He's done better than that now. 11 runs so far. He'll be really looking to improve upon that scoreline. Is Smith looking to chop that away on the offside for a couple more. Australia going fairly slow this morning at a run rate of just under 2. 2 for 48. Big appeal from England. I think they've already used one of their reviews so far, deciding against using a second one here. But Jack Leach bowling quite well. None for 3 from his first couple of overs, and there is a leading edge. Again, at 25, Australia 2 for 48. And a good shot again from Steve Smith. So we've seen so far this morning, Australia have been playing quite slow. They've been working their way into the innings. These two have been at the crease for almost 100 balls between them, and there's been around about 30 runs also between them. That's hit hard from Smith, but it's a thick enough inside edge to go to the boundary. It's a big swing. And a bit of luck going the Australians' way. Oh, and again, he's caught the reverse sweep this time. It's a top edge. And it's going to race away all the way to the boundary, you would think. No, it's not. It's cut off very late. They might run 4 here anyway. Smith charging home. Australia get back for 4. 2 for 62 so far. It's been a busy morning. Last ball of the morning session, I think. Australia 2 for 64. It might take us to tea. No, we've got one more over to lunch. Sorry, that's one more over to go. It's Jack Leach. Can he get the breakthrough? This time a successful reverse sweep to the boundary. And that is the 50 partnership between these two. Probably shot from Steve Smith. He swept quite well today, other than that, I guess that one top edge. Started reasonably well. There's an inside edge onto his pad. England going up. Not out, says the umpire. And again, the reverse sweep from Smith. He's going to go all the way to the fence for 4. So that'll take us through the end of that morning session. Australia will be reasonably pleased with how they've gone. England managed to take 2 wickets early. 2 for 76 Australia. This partnership now worth 58 from these two at the crease, Smith and Labuschagne. Stokes and Archer, the 2 wicket takers so far for England. So they're going to need to get a little bit more out of this guy, Jack Leach. And a little bit more out of their prime bowlers, Wokes and, of course, Broad. So first ball after lunch. Having a discussion about this. Looked like there might have been some bat involved, but they're going to go upstairs again. This is England's second review. They don't have any left after this, and there is a clear inside edge on Steve Smith's bat. It was missing the stumps anyway. England out of reviews here on the opening morning. Just 30 overs in. It's just a strange decision to review that. Steve Smith sweeps it away again for 4 more. So they've been on top of Jack Leach early. He's been quite a good bowler so far in the series, Jack Leach. He has taken the 7 wickets across the 2 test matches at an average of just 7.86. So, been very economical in his bowling and managing to take a wicket every 27 balls so far. So, he has been quite a dangerous bowler for England, and their most effective one, stats would suggest. Oh, big shout here. Looks very close. Umpire not wanting a bar of it. Remember, England out of reviews already today. So, even with a review, impact umpire's call. The umpire said not out. If he'd given it out, it would have remained out. Since he gave it not out, it remains not out. And England, of course, out of reviews, so they can't turn it around anyway. Shane now getting in on the sweeping action. Picks up a couple here. Australia 2 for 90. Short ball pulled away, but it's a thick top edge over the top of everyone, and that's 4. Marnus Labuschagne. Shane Labuschagne, not quite sure. He's worked this one through the square boundary on the leg side. That's 4 more. Australia close to bringing up this 100. Looking for the quick single. Steve Smith will get it. Will get himself to 50. Australia brings up the 100 as well. 8 boundaries there for Steve Smith in his half century so far. And it's been quite a good innings. Started quite slow and they've looked to build. So we've talked about the conditions good for batting. The pitch also looks like it is quite good for batting out there. I know these guys have been going relatively slow. Labuschagne, it's now 30 from 77, so it's been a little bit of a slow toil for him so far. And they've left well today, the Australians. They haven't taken too many risks. It's a pretty flat pitch. Looks like the spinners are going to need to do a lot of the work in this one to get a lot of wickets, as it just seems to be coming on fairly straightforward from the seamers. Bit of a shout here. Is there some glove on it again? Umpire says no. England again out of reviews. Does this hit a bit of glove? It might have just. So another bad decision possibly going against England on this opening day. But that's what happens when you waste your reviews. No run there. So England will be a little bit frustrated. Smith swings hard. Gets an outside edge. And it's going to go all the way to the boundary rope again. This partnership now worth over 100. 112. Another big shout. This time the finger goes up. Leach it is. Getting the breakthrough. Labuschagne going to review this one. That's Labuschagne. Going to review this one because I think there might have been some bat involved. So we'll have a look at this. The question is, does it hit the pad first? Does it hit the toe first? Or does it hit the bat? There's certainly some bat involved late. It does look like it's hit the toe first and then the bat. But does it hit him outside the line of off stump is, I guess, the other question. Impact. Umpire's call. So England are going to keep this wicket. The impact has been deemed umpire's call, not outside the line. Marnus Labuschagne are going to have to go. Australia 3 for 130. Leach getting the breakthrough wicket. And it brings Travis Head to the crease, who swings hard and is gone fairly quickly. 8 balls. He was at the wicket. Jofra Archer this time gets the wicket. So we always talk about 1 brings 2. Second wicket falls for Australia. Jofra Archer getting this breakthrough. Travis Head goes for 1. And he'll be disappointed with that, Travis Head. It's actually been leading run scorer for Australia throughout this series. He scored 250 at an average of 50. And a half century and 100 to his name. And it brings Mitchell Marsh to the crease for the first time in the series. He's off the mark. And he's getting in on the sweeping action as well. So Australia, they've swept really well today to Jack Leach. They found out it's sort of the lengthy bowls that will allow them to do this. And they've been able to get some runs off him as well. And that is just a quality strike from Steve Smith through the covers for 4. So Australia would just want to be a little wary here. They know the batting conditions are quite good. They wouldn't want to be giving away too many wickets here in this middle session. They'd want to be batting, I guess, well into the night. I don't think anything was on that ball. It might just be byes here. Let's see what the umpire... Yes, the umpire signalled byes. So that's 4 byes there on that short ball. And Mitchell Marsh working it away to the boundary. And we've seen so far that this pitch rewards positive batting. If you're batting just a bit of time at the crease, it might not work for you. And playing a bit defensive could end up being your downfall. But if you are playing positive, this wicket will reward you for it. And Steve Smith now starting to play a few quite intense shots in a row. And this will be boundary number 3 coming up for the over. So Steve Smith into the 90s. And again, we talk about positive batting being rewarded. He's just getting the full face of the bat onto these ones and working it into the gaps quite comfortably. Stuart Broad, none for 46. Steve Smith on 92. Looks for a tight single. And he just gets home in the end. Jofra Archer with a good throw. Again, this time pulling it away was Mitchell Marsh. All the way to the fence. And he's looked lively since coming at the crease. 25 from 29. Inside edge onto pad and not through the keeper. We will have a look at this. This was maybe a genuine chance. There's a big inside edge onto the pad, but it just doesn't quite carry through to the keeper. So Mitchell Marsh gets alive. Steve Smith continues to show his class. That's another 4. He moves to 97 now. And really just some real positive stroke play from him lately has been... Let's just put Australia in position A here. 4 for 197. And with Steve Smith going the way he is, you'd really like their chances. So that's a dot ball. And another dot ball. And that's going to take us to tea here on day 1. Australia 4 for 197. Steve Smith and Mitchell Marsh at the crease at the moment. A partnership of 64 there. But where all eyes are on Steve Smith, currently on 97. Can he bring up his second 100 for the series so far? Travis Head, obviously the big letdown. Just the one in that innings. Ben Stokes to continue after tea. And Mitchell Marsh continues as how he was going before tea. With a pull shot to the boundary. So that's the perfect start for Australia. The first ball. It's a new session in. He's just smashed it away to the boundary for 4. Smith again picking up a nice single. Moves to 98. And Mitchell Marsh picking up another boundary. He moves to 35. So a really good first over here from Australia after the tea. Mitchell Marsh continuing in the fashion he has been going. Steve Smith, likewise, it's a top edge. It's over everyone. It's to the fence. It's 4. It's 100 for Steve Smith. His second for the series. The only player so far to actually score 200s in this series. 102 from 166. A little bit of luck along the way, but we've said this wicket rewards positivity. And even that's just a bump ball. He's played well today, Steve Smith. As has this man, Mitchell Marsh. Few scrutinised his inclusion into the side, leaving Matthew Wade out. After Matthew Wade has made 210 runs in this series so far. That's Steve Smith gone. Just a false shot from him. He's pulled it away. Maybe didn't get as much elevation on the stroke as he was after. And it's ended up going to Jack Leach at mid-wicket. Sort of off the toe end of the bat as well. He'd been hitting it pretty well today, Steve Smith. He'd be disappointed with the way he got out He's gone for 102. Australia 5 for 217. And the captain Tim Paine to the crease. Pretty lackluster series for Tim Paine. Averaging just 12 runs throughout. Totaling only 63 innings. At 63 runs across his 5 innings so far. Pat Cummins also on 63 runs for the series so far. So he'd want to be batting a little bit better than that, Tim Paine. As he knocks this one down to mid-off for a couple of runs. Australia 5 for 224. Well, there's a good shot. 4 runs from Tim Paine. Smashing through mid-off for a boundary. Today the day he finally shows something with the bat. But it has been quite a good day for Australia and England. And Tim Paine again, that's just a strange shot. It's straight to mid-on. He's gone for 13, so he keeps in his average of 12.6. Out for 13, he just doesn't really do too much more than that. Does exactly what you expect. I guess consistency is key, but here it's a little bit disappointing, the consistency of his scores and how he's been going about it. Australia 6 down now for 234, so all of a sudden England are back in this game. Leach has a couple. And it looks like he might have another one. Mitchell Marsh getting an outside edge. So, big final session for England so far. They've taken 3 wickets in it. They've gotten rid of the 2 in-form batsmen in Steve Smith and Mitchell Marsh, as well as Tim Paine along the way. And they're well and truly into the tail now. Brings Mitchell Starc to the crease. His second time he's gone out to bat. Just the 5 runs so far for the series for Mitch Starc. And he's almost doubled them with that shot right there. That's 4. Outside edge from Cummins. Goes to the boundary. But again, it's somewhat of a positive stroke. Positivity rewarded for the most part on this crease. We saw Mitchell Marsh playing a pretty defensive shot to get himself out. So Steve Smith and Tim Paine both playing pretty aggressive to try and get some runs, but it ended up getting those guys out. This one down the wicket from Cummins. Very nice drive. Should pick up the 1. So Australia's tail hasn't performed that well in the past couple of matches with the bat. They've lost wickets fairly quickly. These two looking to change that fact. Mitch Starc hits that ball to the boundary. It's now his new top score for the series. After obviously just previously having 5 runs. That's nice from Cummins. Works it to the square. Almost to the boundary on the leg side there. Should pick up 2 more. Pat Cummins been pretty good with the bat this series so far. It's quite handy batting with Matthew Wade in that opening test match to give Australia a strong position heading into the final innings. Mitchell Starc, we know he can bat as well. That's probably close to the shot of the day, that drive. Very nice. And that's just good cricket from Pat Cummins. That's 4 more. So we've seen this tail. They're batting quite well and quite effectively, and they're hitting shots to the boundary again and again. Both these guys now above 20. That's 4 more from Cummins. Pulled away. 4 again. It's in the gap. Cummins moves to 31. So these two going about it the right way, at least in Australia's mind. They want to have a crack at England later on tonight. There's the wicket of Mitchell Starc. Jack Leach getting another. That's 4 for him, I think. Maybe it's 3. Not too sure, but it's Mitch Starc trying to just swing out. Hit out at this point. He ended up making 20 with 4 boundaries there. Australia 8 for 288. And there's not too much longer left in the day's play. There's probably about half an hour, 40 minutes. So it's about maybe 10 overs for the Australian bowlers if they were to get out reasonably soon. And a long day in the field for England, but it has been quite a hot day, I guess, in the field. So they could be a little bit tired, maybe a little bit weary, a little bit of lack of concentration. There's a good wicket. And Jofra Archer clean bowling Pat Cummins on this occasion, as he just tried to work that to the onside. Sees his leg stump go, just sort of darts in off the pitch. Cummins gone for 34, Australia 9 for 290. Nathan Lyon to the crease. I don't think he's done too much with the bat so far this series. He's averaging 20, 40 runs so far. Only been at the innings a couple times, and there's the intention of Josh Hazlewood with that shot. Doesn't want to hang about. Works this through mid-wicket. I'll look to pick up 2. So about half an hour left in today's play now. Australia 9 for 292. They wouldn't mind 300. Just as a mental score. Looks a little bit better than 290 on the board. And that's a sharp catch taken. So Josh Hazlewood to depart for just 2. Australia all out for 292, I think it is. 292, it's a good sharp chance. Lots of men around the bat. Joe Root takes it. Sort of a leg slip position. But Australia all out for 292. They probably would have been hoping to bat the entirety of the day, given the conditions they saw this morning. Good sun, nice wicket. But wickets have continued to tumble, and it's been Jack Leach who took 5 wickets. Jofra Archer a couple, Broad, and Stokes the other 2 wickets there. So it has been quite a busy day in the field for England. It's been a hot day. It could be tiring. Australia have 7 overs now tonight to see if they can get an England wicket or 2. And it is a dangerous little period for Rory Burns and Jason Roy. It's a no ball from Josh Hazlewood, as Burns picks up the 1. So they're off the mark. And Jason Roy off the mark as well. So we did see a little bit of that bowling, I guess, that might have been somewhat too straight from England early on. It really allowed those left-handers to work the ball onto the onside. Australia will be hoping to not do that. Really force them to play. See, that delivery there from Cummins was just a fraction too straight. Not that good. Interesting, Pat Cummins has been given the ball, well, for the new ball anyway. I mean, it's not super interesting. He's the leading wicket taker in the series so far, with Nathan Lyon on 15 wickets each. So they are doing very nicely. Josh Hazlewood 11 wickets across his 2 matches, so he's been the more effective of the 2 bowlers. Mitchell Starc, obviously the inclusion for this match, took 5 wickets in the opening test, so we might see him get 1 over later on. With only 7 overs, it's going to be interesting to see how they break this up. This is Pat Cummins bowling the 6th over now, and England already have pushed this total out to a handy 30 runs. So it's been a good little period for them tonight. The best thing they can do now is not lose a wicket. Just 1 more over remains for the day's play. Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, they weren't able to get wickets. Mitchell Starc to bowl the last over of the day. Can he get a spark for Australia, and can he get a wicket to give them some momentum going into day 2? No run there. 3 balls left. Burns working him onto the onside. It's going to get close to the rope. And saves it. Keeps it to 2. England none for 32. 2 balls left. Short ball. It's the glove, but no short leg in. No wicket there. Burns survives. Last ball of the first day's play. And it's going to be runs. So should be 2 here for Burns. England are going to end on none for 34. A brilliant little session from them in these 7 overs to end the day. They trail by 258 runs after knocking Australia over for 292. We thought it was going to be very good for batting. It ended up being that spin was the key. Jack Leach, 5 for 71. The Seamers with the other 5 wickets between them. Steve Smith, the standout performer today as well with the bat. 102 from 170. Australia in the day, 258 runs ahead. Let's get ready for day 2. I think it's going to be pretty handy too. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.